The Founders Medal is a time-honored tradition, the highest award that can be bestowed by the Southern Society of Clinical Investigation. And I'd like to call forward Dr. Lee Ham to make the presentation of this year's recipient. Lee?
Thank you. Well, it's a real pleasure and honor to be presenting this. Before presenting it, though, I wanted to put up the list of past award recipients. And if you look on the left, you see the early origins of the Founders Medal, and you see giants in American medicine, not just Southern medicine, but American medicine. Eugene Stead, Tinsley Harrison, Donald Selden, George Burt, Grant Little. I could go on and on. And we've got some modern giants over on the right. Carl Weber, Bo Sanders, David Ploe. I won't read the entire list, but tremendous history that I also feel confident in the future of the society, and today is no different. In fact, one of the things that I noted was this will be, and we've entered a modern era. So we've only had 3 women receive the Founders Award, counting today. But it is 2 out of the last 5. So we're making a lot of progress. Tonette Krause-Wood. Tonette, I'm only going to give you a snapshot, and I must admit that until I went through all the material, I really hadn't understood how Tonette was able to do all she's able to do. But what I discovered is there are actually 4 Tonettes. I just didn't know it. I knew that different people would say, "Well, she's overdoing this," and I'd say, I'd think, "Well, no, I just saw her doing this over here," as you'll hear. But an incredible both the past history of accomplishments and current activities. Tonette got her BS at LSU and then went to medical school at LSU. She subsequently got her master's in public health at Tulane. She did an initial internship in internal medicine at Ochsner, and then did a preventive medicine residency at Tulane. Since then has, I'm sure she was a ball of fire then, but since then, amazing things. I won't give you all the history, but she's currently is a professor in the Department of Medicine at Tulane University School of Medicine. But she also is a very active professor in epidemiology in the School of Public Health. And in fact, she has 4 administrative titles presently. She's a senior associate dean for faculty affairs. That's 80% of her time. She is the associate dean for public health and medical education at the School of Public Health. That's only 70% of her time. And she's also, for the university, the associate provost for the health sciences. That one, I think, is only 50% of her time. And also is a senior scientist at Ochsner for the Center for Applied Health Research. She has been an elected member of or elected fellow of the American College of Preventive Medicine, an elected fellow of the American Heart Association Council on Epidemiology and Prevention. Some of her other day jobs are that she heads the Birch program, the Building Interdisciplinary Research Careers in Women's Health, which is an NIH-funded program that's been going on a number of years. She heads that. It was recently competitively renewed. One of her other day jobs is that she has run for many years the MD MPH program at Tulane. For this organization, she has been an active member, or originally was an active participant beginning in 1992. I think she's submitted an abstract every single year since then. Has certainly participated in recent years. She's been an officer of the council, was the president of the SSCI 2015-2016. She also, those were her day jobs. But her other activities, she is the chair and president of the American Board of Preventive Medicine. She's been on their board of directors. She has been a member of the Center for Scientific Review Advisory Council at the NIH. She currently is on about 5 different grants, several of which she leads. I've mentioned the Birch program in developing women, academic physicians and scientists. She's also a PI with John Huh in a large R01 study and implementation of hypertension control. She is a principal, heads one of the groups on the LeCATS program, which is a cooperative NIH-funded program between Tulane, LSU School of Medicine in New Orleans, and Pennington. And she also is involved officially with the UAB CTSA. She has published more than 125 peer-reviewed publications. Most recently, these have focused on hypertension, medication adherence, and sex-based differences in health outcomes, particularly in cardiovascular disease. You know, there are other people that I can't figure out when they sleep. Tonette, I assume neither sleeps nor do her other 3 parts. The other 3 Tonettes sleep as well. Tonette has had remarkable achievements, is an active physician leader, as you can tell, throughout Tulane, but also in the world of public health, in hypertension, and women's studies. So it's the greatest honor possible to present this to you, Tonette. Congratulations.
Well, wow, thank you, Lee. I sure wish my parents could have been here. I think they wonder what I do, you know, so that would have been great. What an honor it is for me that my dean, Lee Ham, could be here today, as busy as his schedule is, to come and be a part of this process. I'm also incredibly grateful to the SSCI for giving me so many opportunities to serve, to learn, and to grow professionally as well as personally. It has just been an honor to be a part of this organization. When I look at the individuals that are on that list, I'm really quite humbled, not only those who have come before us and have gone, but also those that are sitting in this room today. It's just an amazing opportunity, and it's truly humbling, I must say. I find it all very exciting because I never thought I would be a Founders Medal recipient. I don't know exactly why that is, whether I thought, I had to be a certain age to be there, and maybe that means I've crossed over. So I'm hoping that isn't what really happened. But over the years, I've attended this meeting, I've listened to my esteemed colleagues give their remarks, and have just said, wow, they really set a high bar, and that makes me a little nervous today to try to follow behind them and impart some words. So I asked, what would be the guiding principles for that for today, and I said, well, there are a couple of things. Of course, you need to be thankful. You need to share some words of wisdom. You can be funny, say something funny, which is great. Provide pictures, and be brief. So I think, for the most part, I can master these. The one that makes me worried is the one that says, say something funny. My husband, whom I adore, says, Tonette, you've got a great sense of humor, but you are not funny. He said, so I'm going to do my best with that one. We'll see how that goes. So here we go. I'll give some brief overviews, and hopefully I meet your expectations today. So although I presented my first poster, as Dean Ham said, in 1992, I really didn't get as intimately involved with the organization until right after Hurricane Katrina. I had an opportunity to collaborate with the then editor-in-chief, Dr. David Ploth, for the American Journal of Medical Sciences, when he asked me to co-edit or guest edit a symposium issue post-Katrina for the journal. And so we worked together. I had an opportunity to work with those across the Gulf South, addressing the post-era of that little storm that we had in 2005. Working with the colleagues in, like I said, across the Gulf South, we had an opportunity to tell our story of recovery and resilience in the Deep South. What an amazing opportunity. Over the period of time working with this, I had an opportunity to expand my network, work with the SSCI, ultimately get elected to the council, and then have the honor and the privilege of serving as its president. What a fabulous opportunity. What has happened is my network expanded. You can see with my colleagues here, working with the staff, my colleagues and friends. I was asked to do a plenary session with Dr. Suzanne Operl on women and cardiovascular health. That was just a wonderful experience. Recognize my colleagues in giving them awards for mentoring and teaching, and of course just be able to serve and lead in certain ways here, which has just been an amazing opportunity. We all know, though, that when you're doing anything in science or in academics, you're never successful without a very strong work ethic, which you usually acquire early in life, and without strong family support. So in the order in which these people came into my life, or maybe it's better for me to say in which I came into their life, I certainly want to recognize my parents, Hilda and Walter Krausel, who born of European immigrants and really instilled a strong work ethic, a commitment to excellence and perseverance, and I am forever grateful. But nothing happens with just parents. Your siblings. So I was one of 5. I was the middle child and all that goes with that. So when I worked with my siblings or interacted with my siblings, I certainly learned how to negotiate, how to navigate difficult waters, and how to communicate. I will tell you, after many years with 3 lawyers, an engineer, and then I'm the only physician, they still give me opportunities to build my skills for negotiation, navigation, and communication. So I'm grateful. Of course, there's my husband, Dr. Robert Wood. He is a practicing physician and a non-academician who has supported me without question from day one. He is my North Star. There's no question about it. He's not only by my side, he's on my side. And in academics, when you're in those peaks and troughs, you certainly need that. Now, I have to say, he does think I'm a little nuts with the grants and the manuscripts, but, he tolerates it and says, if it makes you happy, go right ahead. We are blessed with 2 children. We have a son and a son-in-law who are both physicians, and our daughter starts dental school in the fall. Somehow, we'd like to say that we've done something right. I don't know. The proof may still be out there, but they're doing very well. But over the years, they certainly learned to think that it was normal for moms to be working on grants while they stood in line overnight waiting to buy dance review tickets, and that when moms showed up in suits and high heels to baseball games, that was perfectly acceptable. So I'm glad that they did that. They're certainly a source of great joy and pride for us. There are many mentors that I could recognize, but I really have to give credit for my first mentor, Dr. Richard Ray, who was the one who introduced me to AFMR and SSCI, penultimate physician scientist, practicing hypertension specialist, gave me a chance when my pathway forward wasn't really clear. He provided resources and support for me to develop an area in health services and policy research and outcomes research, an area that he wasn't familiar with, but he had confidence in me and gave me the strength to move forward, and I will be forever grateful for that. There are many people that I've worked with over the years, but I have to recognize my team right now who keeps my research active, where we're publishing papers and presenting, and of course you may notice two of my trainees are presenting posters at this SSCI meeting. As Dean Ham mentioned, we present every year here. It's an important opportunity. So now for the inspiration. We're done with the thanks. I think I made that through, okay? And now we're doing for the words of wisdom, okay? So the first thing I would say is do work that matters. Over the years, I've had the fabulous opportunity and the pleasure to do what I love and love what I do every single day. I have to say some days more than others, but for the most part, this is very true. With that, we've been able to, develop and look at sex and race differences for determinants of health, develop novel tools for assessment of medication adherence, develop predictive models for hypertension management, conduct clinical trials, helping people in rural areas to better control their blood pressure. It's been phenomenal. It's been a wonderful opportunity, and I have to say it's been great. Some people will say that success leads to happiness, but actually the psychologists will say it's just the opposite, that happiness fuels success. What they mean by that is Sean Aker, a Harvard psychologist, wrote that about 25% of success is attributed to your book smarts, your IQ. The other 75% comes from three things. Your belief that what the work you do matters, your access to positive social support, and third, the way that you perceive stress as a challenge and not as a threat. And probably the most important of those is the positive social support. And I will have to say that SSCI and this organization has provided just that support, in addition to other areas of support that has fueled my success and can also contribute to yours. Albert Einstein said it a little bit differently. He said, strive not to be a success, but to be of value. And if you're of value, leads to happiness. And again, happiness leads to success. Seek mentorship. I could have a whole talk on mentorship. You'll be glad to know I won't be giving it today. This picture here is a picture of mentor. This is the trusted friend, accomplished confidant of Odysseus, a Greek mythology character, who had to leave for the wars in Troy, and he had a young son, Telemachus, that he wanted to leave with someone who could guide him and provide him the pathway forward as an accomplished man, and that was his trusted friend, mentor, that do that. But as you go forward, you will meet many individuals who can help inspire you, help navigate, and show the way, and can ask the really difficult question. What is it? You said to do an abstract. It's important that they ask the questions and keep you moving forward. Collaborate is also another word of wisdom. When you're working in science, you're going through the training, and you are on your pursuit of independence in research, you really are training to be the brightest star in the galaxy. The problem with it, although it's a lofty goal, the problem with being the brightest star is once you're there, it's a little lonely, right? You're the only one there. There's only one way to go once you achieve it, just to be less bright, and it leads to burnout. So again, the psychologists have come forward and said, honestly, if you work in teamwork, you collaborate, and you're part of a constellation of stars, that you actually burn brighter, you burn longer, and you have greater satisfaction with what you're doing. So collaborate, engage effectively, and make that work. Be resourceful. There are pearls of wisdom in everything you do, every person you meet, every presentation you listen to, whether it's directly related to your research or not. You can find inspiration in greeting cards. You can find inspiration in other people's work. You can find inspiration in calendars, if you will. So make sure you're taking advantage of every opportunity that is before you, and to use those resources, as trivial as they may seem. This is a card that my daughter gave me years ago, Christmas card. What's this? 2 lumps of coal. Now, does that not feel like a manuscript review or a grant rejection? 2 lumps of coal? Put those lumps of coal in the right place and you can see, I can see. So again, find your inspiration, move forward, turn obstacles into opportunities. Be inspired or get inspired is another word of wisdom. This is a picture of the Sydney Opera House. When I visited it years ago, presenting a paper in Australia, I heard the story of the success of the Opera House. And I don't know if you know that it was a highly competitive process. They had the leading architects from around the world coming to compete to win the bid, if you will, to develop the Opera House. They had detailed proposals that were written up with excruciating amount of information about how they were going to provide this landmark for Australia and for Sydney. The one that won, an unexpected turn of this, is a relatively unknown architect from a Danish architect, had come forward and provided this very simple design. Of course, it was out of the box. It was way out there. No one thought it could be done. But this was something that he had planned that would put Australia on the map. This would make a difference. End of the story. This one was the one that was selected and ultimately resulted in this fabulous building that is this structure that's available in Australia today. It is an indisputable masterpiece of human creativity that started really with the back of an envelope drawing of something that was extraordinary. It took much longer to build than it thought, much like you're going to feel your career is going to take much longer to achieve than what you initially thought. But at the end of the day, may be declared a World Heritage Site, which the Sydney Opera House was in 2007. Get inspired, think out of the box, draw further. You set your high goals and have high standards in everything that you do. Vince Lombardi said perfection is not attainable, but if you chase perfection, you can achieve excellence. And that is certainly true. You work harder at things that you think are worth doing. Do you always achieve everything that's worth doing? Nope. Do you learn something? You should. I hope so. And of course you do. Think grand. This is a picture of the Gran Via in Madrid, Spain. Again, there was a meeting that was there, and walking down the Gran Via, you could see fabulous buildings, but the architecture, every time you got to a new section, changed dramatically. I asked the question, why is this so different? You would think it's the Gran Via. I said, it took decades to build. The materials changed, we made mistakes, we learned new lessons, we improved on the process, and so we would make it different every time. New fashions came in. The same thing's going to happen with your career. I know the majority of people here are trainees. You will have this opportunity to use new materials, address the fashion, incorporate better foundation, and build your career in a way that's going to make a difference. Be adaptable. I mentioned this yesterday at one of our executive committee, but Charles Darwin said it's not the strongest of the species that survives nor the most intelligent, it's the one that is the most adaptable to change. You will need to change, be adaptable to achieve what you want. And pay it forward. Just as those have helped you, you want to reach out and help those who are going to come behind you and foster the next generation of academic and scientific leaders. The last word of wisdom is to be good to yourself. An inspirational speaker encouraging professionals to take care of themselves, to put your oxygen mask on for us, even if yellow isn't your color. It's important you take care of yourself. We're worried a lot of burnout is happening as people are struggling so hard to make the big achievements. But make sure you take a moment, be good to yourself, be good to your family, be good to your colleagues. So in summary, the Southern Society for Clinical Investigation has meant a tremendous amount to me. It has given me the opportunity to learn new skills, to share my insights, to help foster the next generation of academic leaders, and to be a part of something bigger than myself. I am so proud to be a member of SSCI, so proud to have served, and I certainly hope that each and every one of you will have the opportunities that I have had, and look forward to seeing you all at future meetings. Thank you.